Hello everybody and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix playthrough. It is time for us to head off to Neverland. And it's going to be delightful as we're following the leader, we're following the leader wherever he may go. Maybe not quite, but still. I was about to say, this is probably one of the quietest openings we've had to a world since, like, ever. Just, like, blackness other than, you know, Mickey's star shard thingy bouncing him off all over the place, and Tink just floating in and going, "Ooh, a shiny!" And just flying on after it, but now things get a little bit dark.
Move it.
So yes, Mickey is in trouble and we need to rescue him.
Let's try kicking him. Who are you?
Name's Ventus, but everybody just calls me Ven. Huh. Guess when I sat down to rest, I must have fallen asleep.
But where'd you come from?
Well, you see...
All right, we're going.
So long, Ben.
Hey, where are you guys off to?
Tink saw a shooting star, and we're gonna go hunt it down.
A shooting star? Mind if I come along?
Of course not. But you gotta agree to follow us.
Yeah, it's, right over... that way, by the Indian camp.
Ready, men? Forward, march!
Okay.
So, you know how I said we were following the leader? We are actually following a leader, it's just that it's maybe not quite the leader you were expecting. Because it's clearly not Peter, and it's clearly not anybody else. It's just one of the random Lost Boys that they decided to put into this particular game. So, once again, murder and verse time, and that's just going to be delightfully fun. But I will say that, from what I recall, this can be a pretty fun trip through Neverland. There is actually a surprisingly challenging boss fight at the end of it. Like, it surprised me how potentially challenging the fight can be. Like, for the most part, a lot of the boss fights in the Kingdom Hearts franchise in general turn out to be sort of somewhat easy, apart from, you know, some of the ultra challenging ones later down the line. I mean, if you look at pretty much most of the final bosses, they're always quite challenging. Some for better reasons than others. I'm looking at you, Dream Drop Distance final boss. But in general, a lot of the boss fights are pretty simple, if only because they are pretty fair in terms of their challenge, and also because most of the time you're just hitting an enemy, and as long as you've got the ability to heal, you're really not put in that much danger unless you are really bad at fighting in this game. Or any of the other games, really. I mean, I would say if you're playing, even playing Proud Mode, like, the only difficulty you generally find initially is the fact that the enemies hit quite hard, and that can cause chaos, as I know I mentioned way back at the start of the playthrough. But I would say that pretty much since Kingdom Hearts 2, while that sort of initial phase can be challenging, and obviously some of the boss fights later down the line can be challenging, in general, it's not that bad. if I recall correctly, Kingdom Hearts 1's crowd mode was actually really difficult. I think it's arguably a lot more challenging than any of the later games' crowd modes, and I think that is probably in part because they, well, in general, the games got easier and more fluid to control. Therefore, you had more movement options. Therefore, the battles got easier, and therefore they were able to, you know, add the extra difficulty of critical. I can't remember whether the critical difficulty was introduced in Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, or whether it was in Kingdom Hearts 2. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter, because they did eventually create critical. Obviously, critical is the hardest difficulty that you can do the game on. And at some point, maybe, I might decide to do Quest for the Critical, just because there is a trophy associated with it. Actually, I feel like there's 3 or 4 trophies associated with Critical mode. Not 100% sure. I would have to look that up, and right now I'm far too lazy for that, so... That's really bad, isn't it? Like, do this as a nice fun little side project, sit down to do it, all ready and raring to go, and I'm just like, oh, I'm too lazy. Just like get the phone out, not really sure what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna rabbit on. But hey, that's basically how I've dealt with things for like 9 years, so I don't think I'm going to change at this point. But hey, that's what you guys love about me, right? Just the fact that I'm a bit of a rambler, sometimes going into really, hopefully, fun topics, but generally just being someone to have a natter in your ear while video game footage plays, and life goes on. And part of me was hoping that I was going to get Stitch fully leveled up in a single area. It may still happen. Unlikely, but it may still happen. Quite awesome if it did, though. I just then, you know, have to actually use his experience points buff to actually do anything. I mean, I will say that basically if you want an easy ride with kind of levelling up in general, just switch to Mickey or Stitch and you get basically set. I'd say Stitch is probably not very good for this particular world, largely because there are a lot of thunder enemies, and obviously they are not exactly weak to the thunder attacks that are in Stitch's arsenal. But hey, can't really do much about that, and that's something that I don't think I had actually noticed properly, is that when all the enemies in an area are dead, the D-Link gauge does drop quite considerably. So I suppose you have at least got that as an indicator of, yeah, all of the enemies are gone and they're not coming back. Unfortunately, that does just then mean that you have to look around trying to get yourself sorted to get back into the fray, but it's all good, and woo! So yes, EXP Walker is one of the abilities that we got. It's a really, really helpful ability, and one that I would recommend probably attaching a lot sooner if you can get it, because basically it means that you gain experience points as you walk, which, let me just say, amazing, but also is actually really good for Ven in particular, because Ven's highest finish commands are entirely associated with walking. So you've got to walk more steps, which is why using Super Glide is not the best thing in the world, because, you know, it's just not working out. But outside of that, And for God's sake, why did I have to throw him off the edge? Just wanted to, you know, murder him. And this was not the right time to go into break time. And I love how this is actually the first time that you're going to see break time used in this playthrough. Really, I should have done it with Terra as well, because there is a, as I believe I might have said, there's trophies associated with break time, using break time with every character. So Ven's is a spinning one-hand handstand, which is quite fun. Get health back from using it, so can be quite useful, but really just do not. There is no point. And I'm going to keep doing it because I think that I'm going to get anywhere, and I'm really, really not. I don't know why I'm even bothering. I think that's why in the end I was just like, you know what, I give up, because this is not doing me any good. But yes, if I'd done it with Terra, he would have done a... I think he does a handstand, which is quite awesome, and thank God I had a Cura to use there, otherwise I think I would have been absolutely mortified, just gone, why am I doing this to myself? And come on mate, just pop your clogs now. And now I'm using thunder moves on thunder enemy, but still. Yeah, this is what you're meant to use break time for, is getting that extra bit of healing in, but you can never actually do it when there's enemies about, because they're going to hit you, and so it ends up just being a bit of a pointless weapon in your arsenal, really. Something you would only ever really use in the moments in between battles. Because at that point, you know, you can actually make use of break time in healing you. And I'm loving all of those excellence. That was... I feel like I might have just made up for all those really, really, really terrible instances of break timing. But still, let's head to Peter's hideout.
Peter Pan!
Who do we have here? Never seen you before.
I'm Ventus. Call me Ven.
Well, if you say so. Tension! Now then, men, I don't suppose you'd want to capture some real pirate treasure?
Real pirate treasure?
Sure!
Well, guess who caught sight of Hook right when he was stashing his treasure? What do you say we sneak in and grab it?
Oh boy!
Let's go! Ow! Oh!
Tinkerbell? What's gotten into you?
We were all supposed to go hunt for a shooting star together.
Forget that. Pirate treasure is way more fun. Tink, you're coming with us. Well, that's no way to respond to an invitation. Come on, Ben. You're a better sport than her, right?
I'd love to join you, but first I want to find the shooting star.
So yeah, Ben's gonna go look for the shooting star all by himself. Probably a good idea he does, actually, because kind of should make sure that, you know, Mickey's okay. Because last we saw him, he was getting potentially murdered by Vanitas. So yeah, probably want to get that sorted before anything more serious happens, shall we say. And I believe this is going to get us a good old bit of Mega Flare. Get in there! Love a bit of extra special murder with Mega Flare, that's always fun, and I don't think I needed another second chance, but I've got another second chance. Oh well. At least it's another command to level up that can cause chaos. I'll live with it. But yeah, we're actually, I think, not a whole long way from the end of the world. Because I'm looking at these wave patterns, just going, right, what happens when? Because I can't even remember. It might be a bit longer than I'm thinking, and then more cutscenes happen. Because pretty much what does tend to happen with all of our heroes is that as soon as you beat Neverland, you're pretty much thrown immediately into a cutscene afterwards. And while I think I have been variously splitting things up as I go, I can't quite remember how I split this one up. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, definitely make sure you pop inside of Peter's hideout, because, you know, he's got those chests in there. Do not want to miss those chests, because that would be a bad idea, and there's the Mega Flare murder. Didn't, you know, do as much damage as I would have liked. I would have liked kind of a complete murder of these unversed. But, you know, if they're not just going to die for me as they should, then really, I'm just going to have to take them down however I can. But yes, you may think that we're going to get a fight as soon as we get to the Indian camp, and if I recall correctly, while we may have to face down some enemies, we don't actually have our boss fight there. No, our boss fight is quite a bit further away than that. But yes, we're into the gully, which is all nice and easy to sort out. Nice big treasure chest, which I think is finally our map. Yeah, getting right to the end of the world. Now's the time to give us a map. Okay, I'll take that. But yes, all we need to do is head on into the Indian camp and see what awaits.
Mickey's Star Shard?
A shooting star and a pixie. Must be me birthday.
Let Tinkerbell go!
Ha! One of Peter Pan's brats. Well, tell that cowardly sparrow, if he wants his precious Tinkerbell back, he'd best meet me at Mermaid Lagoon.
Stop! Scram!
So yes, we do have a fight here indeed, and it is against a whole bunch of unversed, and then obviously, I think you've probably guessed what our boss fight is for Ven's trip to Neverland. It is indeed Captain Hook, which means we get a Disney boss fight, and as you can tell, I'm always really excited to do Disney boss fights, because I feel that they're always that little bit more interesting than either the Unversed or the Heartless or the Dream Eater boss fights in the other games. There's just something a little bit more fun about seeing characters that you knew growing up be turned into various fights and seeing how they go about making that all work. Because you're kind of going, so you've got a character, say Captain Hook, how are you going to turn him into a fun and interesting boss fight? Because obviously his whole shtick is attacking people with the sword. But they do find a way to do it, and I'd say it's a much more interesting and also intricate fight than the one that we faced in the original Kingdom Hearts. It's definitely more challenging, I would say. Part of that is obviously because, as you would expect, we are dealing with a single character against a single character rather than having two allies on our team. But still, that fight went down without much of a challenge, and let's see how Ven gets on trying to save Tinkerbell.
I lost them. You ever wonder what stars are? Where light comes from?
Look out below!
Peter, help! Tinkerbell's been pixie-napped.
Then I'm too late. Hook's gonna pay for this.
He said to meet him at Mermaid Lagoon.
Gotta be an ambush. Huh, that old codfish thinks he's clever.
Hey, I'm going too.
Well, we have to hurry. Can you keep up?
You bet. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why I'm nipping back in. Oh, I know I'm nipping back into the Indian camp because I want that Thundaga. And as you can see, the way that Ven's attacks work mean that he does get that extra bit of lift, which then just makes it a hell of a lot easier to get that Thundaga than really it is for any of the other characters. I think technically you should be able to get it with Aqua, but I think I've always struggled quite a bit with managing to achieve that. And right now I am just skipping through to get to the end here, because I am ready for my boss fight.
Long Tom and fire!
Cannon fire? Where's it coming from?
On the water! Over there! Tink, it's you! And you're all right! What? A strange fellow with a funny-looking sword has... Hold on! I gotta stop that cannon!
Okay, I'll go after Hook.
Right. Tink, if you would.
What?
It's pixie dust. Bet you feel lighter now, don't you?
Yeah, Ven can now fly, he can fly, except he's already been able to fly for quite a while now. So, really, that was not as exciting as it perhaps should have been to finally get Glide. But hey, that's what I get for completely cheesing my way through the game to get Super Glide ultra early, because I can't be bothered to wait. And really, that is okay with me. And actually, now that I am looking at my waves, I know exactly where I am cutting Ben's story up in terms of dealing with the delight of his immediate trip following his trip to Neverland. Now, I will say that getting through this particular area unharmed is certainly more difficult than it was with Terra, because you've got the cannon fire constantly. So you do have to deal with that, which can be a bit of a nightmare, but it's okay, because as long as you're moving about and you've got a Kira or something on your command deck, it really ain't that much of a problem. And I don't know why I'm not pulling out Stitch, because I know that Stitch isn't fully leveled up yet, and that would make sense. But There we go. I don't always make the smartest moves, as I have said many times before. And I would like that guy to, you know, stop doing what he was doing, because that just wasn't fun. I don't want to keep getting attacked by a massive gorilla bruiser type thing. Just no fun. And yeah, you can see at this point I'm just like, I just love Wingblade so much that whenever it turns up, I just want to pull off the final attack. Even if it's only on one enemy and there's no need to do it whatsoever, it just makes me feel like a badass. And really, that's all that matters. And now the trick is, get the chest, don't fall off, and it's probably not my smartest move perhaps, but hey, I am going to get a lot of ice creams out of this, so it's not the worst decision I've ever made. It could have gone a lot worse though, because, you know, I could have actually ended up accidentally falling off the edge and then having to go all the way back round, but it's okay, because a good old Mega Flare and we were right as rain. And that pretty much takes us to where our journey here is going to end. I think I'm just going to murder these guys, because, you know, I need to do some more inversed murdering. It's going to continue throughout the entire playthrough. I said we're about halfway through now. It's just going to be inversed murdering from... Well, it already was from the beginning to the end, but it's just going to continue and really be filled with inverse murder. And I have to say, we've done actually a surprising amount of levelling up throughout this, which I'm quite happy for. But with that chest, I would definitely recommend saving. Definitely recommend. There's 2 chests that I'm missing and my brain's going, where the hell are they? But I can't really deal with them just yet. I'll deal with it when I'm going through on my whole final pickup moment, because that's going to happen at every single story, because it has to. But yeah, just definitely make sure to save up here. And also what you probably want is, well, raid commands I think can be quite useful during this. Anything long distance, I mean generally that's the... oh, not another bloody leaf bracer. Yeah, generally you want to be as far away as possible from Hook, who is obviously your fight. I will say that potentially things like Thunder Surge can be quite useful, because, I mean, really, Thunder Surge, I believe, is the way that a lot of the most challenging boss fights in the game are dealt with, because the way that Thunder Surge happens is it kind of, you're able to attack the enemy and get away at the same time, and pulling that off is just pretty awesome. But here is Hook himself.
Alas, and so passeth a worthy opponent. To think that his would be such an inglorious end. At last that scurvy brat will never trouble me again.
I wouldn't be so sure that, Hook.
Swoggle me eyes. No, don't tell me. Oh, Jimmy! Blast that Peter Pan! Oh, that sound! No, not again! Stay away from me!
I don't think so.
So yes, it is time for our fight against Captain Hook. As I said, surprisingly challenging. Annoyingly, the two chests that I'm missing are right over on that platform there, but they're not here during the boss fight, because of course they're not. The really annoying thing about Hook is that he will very often kind of block your attacks, which is never good. You don't have to worry too much about falling into the water, because the crocodile ain't too bothered about you. But really, the best way that you can get through this fight is by making use of your blocks and your parries. And if you can get a little bit of a reversal in there as well, that can also be really helpful. The challenge with Hook is that he is surprisingly aggressive, and also his moves can really quickly screw you over. Also, Sonic Blade, as you can see, is not as useful as you would perhaps like during this fight, because you very quickly fall off the edge, and that's just not okay. But as you can see, a little bit of magic from Aqua. Obviously, getting that extra bit of extra heal without having to wait is a godsend. But also, because I've leveled her up fully, getting that magic volley in there also quite useful. And thank God for Aqua, let's put it that way, because clearly if you accidentally die with Aqua when you're using her D-Link, she can auto-revive you. So I will definitely take that one. As you can see, the fight against Hook surprisingly hard. I would definitely recommend maybe levelling up a little bit more than I did for taking this on, because as you can see, can turn into a little bit of a nightmare if you're not careful. So come on. There we go. That's what I needed, and that is the end of Captain Hook, and it's the end of Ven's journey to Neverland. And I have to say, it's a really, really sweet and touching finale for Ven's trip to Neverland. And also, it's very interesting where his path is going to take him from this moment until the end of the game.
Hey, look what we brought!
It's a pirate's treasure chest!
Treasure!
Yep, the same chest I told you about. We snatched it right from Hook's hiding place. Huh? How come it's empty?
Sorry, but we lost it, all the treasures!
Oh well, that's too bad.
Aw, who needs it? It was probably just full of dumb old jewels or doubloons or something anyways.
We could just put what we treasure in there instead, if you wanna.
Yeah, that's perfect. Instead of filling it up with jewels and gold and stuff, we'll put in what's truly special to us, the real riches. What are you putting in, Ben?
I don't know. How about this?
What is it?
It's just something that one of my best friends gave me.
So it's like a keepsake, huh? You sure you want to part with something that's special?
Yep. I don't need it if I've got Terra and Aqua. Our best memories are still ahead.
All right, then. Next time you visit, we'll have an even bigger chest waiting. Enough for all those treasures, and lots more.
Okay, it's a deal. Oh, wait, Tink. I'm pretty sure that belongs to a friend of mine. Do you think maybe I could hang on to it?
Now, Tink.
Thank you.
He's gone.
Look, the light!
Don't worry, men. No matter where that light takes him, Ven'll always have friends waiting to meet him.